So just like announced in the last video I made, today I'm comparing the Shure BETA 57A and the Audio-Technica ATR-2100 USB/XLR microphone, and I'm testing all of this with the Zoom H5 audio recorder, and I'm also going to make a test with the USB connection to the computer and see how the noise floor compares between the audio recorder as well as the Zoom recording here. So the big difference between these two microphones is that the ATR-2100 actually connects with a USB port to your computer or with an XLR port to an audio recorder. And that's a huge difference and also a huge benefit on the ATR-2100 because you can do stuff like Skype calls straight away with just a USB connection. And even podcasters like Tim Ferriss with millions of downloads use this microphone a lot because it is so easy to use with a computer and a USB connection, and also can be set up super easy. It also features the audio hub on the back of the microphone where you can actually monitor yourself and also use it as an output from your computer, so you can actually hear what other people are saying and monitor yourself at the same time if you are, for example, talking in Skype. The Shure BETA 57A, on the other hand, is a microphone that needs an audio recorder or some kind of an XLR interface to be recorded. It is usually a stage mic. It's also usually an instrument microphone. However, I found that I actually like the sound of this for voice as well. And I also compared with the Shure BETA 58A, and that's usually meant for voice. And it has a little bit bigger of a mesh at the top. It's more of a ball form. However, because I'm traveling so much, I personally like the smaller form factor of this one. And I also have the foamy part for this, which clicks on with a magnetic thingy. And I also have a little bit of a cheap microphone foam for the ATR-2100. So I'm going to compare how these two microphones sound with and without the foam on top of them. To kind of like get started on this comparison, I'm first going to do the comparison with the ATR-2100. So what I did in the last video with the comparison is exactly the same thing that I'm going to do here. I first want to talk straight into the microphone to see how the sound comes through if I do that. Then I'm going to talk 90 degrees to the microphone so you can hear how the microphone picks up sound at about 90 degrees. Then we have about 120 degrees angle, which on the ATR, I don't know really what it does, but on the Shure BETA 57A, this is kind of like the dead spot for this microphone that it should not record a lot of. And then the interesting one is as well the back of the microphone and seeing how that compares to the front of the microphone. So now I'm back at the front of the microphone and I'm going to test how it sounds if I put my mouth to the grill. And this is all considering that the microphone is actually set to a 6 on the audio recorder, and I'm not going to change that. I have it for both microphones and I'm not doing any post-processing, so you can actually hear how the microphone sounds. Then I have the microphone at about 10 centimeters of distance to my mouth. And the last one is I have it about an arm's length to the mouth, and I'm going to speak from here. So this is the comparison for the ATR-2100 connected with XLR to the Zoom H5, and I will do the same test with the ATR-2100 on a USB connection at the end of this video. The last one that I want to do is I want to pass around the microphone between my hands to see how it handles the rejection of handling noise. And this is something that in previous tests I find that the ATR-2100 is way worse than the BETA 57A. It handles the handling way worse, and it also has a lot more bumpy sounds in it. So you might be able to hear those in this video as well. The other downside of this microphone that I personally find is that it has an on and off switch. And the interesting thing is that even if you switch it off, the light does not switch off if you connect it with a USB switch, which is something that I would kind of expect. But having an on-off switch always has the problem that if you have a guest on a podcast handling the microphone in their own hands, that they accidentally switch the microphone on or off. And I also have taped over the light here because it is a pretty bright LED. And if I want to record videos and do audio at the same time, I didn't want that in my video to be as obvious. So now I'm going to switch over to the Shure BETA 57A so you can listen to the comparison, how it sounds on there. So now I have the Shure BETA 57A in my hand, and I'm pretty much talking straight into the microphone. Now I'm talking 90 degrees of an angle to the microphone, and you can hear how that sounds. Now I'm talking at about 120 degrees of an angle, so you can hear how the rejection is at this angle. And now I'm talking from right behind the microphone, so you can hear how that sounds. Now I am back at the front, and I'm putting my mouth all the way to the grill, so you can hear how I sound when I talk directly into the microphone. Now I have about 10 centimeters of a distance to the microphone, and you can hear how that sounds. And the last one, I have the arm's length of a distance, so you can hear how it sounds if I go far away. And again, same thing with the other one. I'm going to pass it around between my hands so you can hear the difference in handling noise rejection. So that's for this microphone. I'm now going to do the same test with the USB connection. So now I have connected the ATR-2100 with the USB connection of this microphone, which is one of the biggest selling points of this. It's really, really cheap if you get it in the US for around 60 or 70 US dollars. In Germany, it's really hard to get, but I think there is a comparable one out here, but I got mine in the US, so I don't really know how to get it in Germany. I tried to find it a couple years ago and it wasn't possible. But for everybody who is in the US, this is an amazing microphone to get started with. So now I'm going to do this test with the sound differences, but I'm going to start without the foam. So now I have the USB connected ATR-2100 without the foam right in front of my mouth. Now I have it at about a 90-degree angle to my mouth. 120 degrees sounds like this, and then we have right from the back of the microphone. What you might actually already find out is that there is a handling noise to this microphone if it is connected with USB. So if you use it in a handheld scenario, and especially if you pass it around between your hands or you clunk the cable against something, I found you hear that quite often. So now if I handle it between my hands, that is how it sounds. In general, I love this microphone to be able to do this USB connected thing. I can use it for Skype and all that kind of stuff if I want to record a on a distance podcast. On the other hand, if you have a Zoom H5, for example, you can use that as an interface as well, and you can record that way. But if you want to go minimal, this is definitely a lovely setup, and I'm going to make a video about how you can actually use two of these microphones without an audio recorder and just connect them with USB and record on your computer, which may actually be a cheaper version to be able to do this kind of recording with two participants and not need an audio recorder and two microphones and XLR cables and all that kind of stuff. So with about $160, you can do two-person interviews with just a computer and a little bit of software. Now I'm going to do the same test with the foam. So now with the foam, you have this microphone about 5 centimeters from my mouth. Now we have 90 degrees of an angle. 120 sounds about like this. And then we have right from the back of the microphone when it is connected with USB. And now I'm back at the front of the microphone, and I'm going to switch over to the XLR version with the foam. So now we have the USB connection as well, and the last round of this is that I want to be testing the XLR connection between these two microphones with the foam on top. One important thing about the BETA 57A here, it actually has an original foam piece, which also has a magnetic system to put it into. So this all attaches together and it holds way better than having a random cheap microphone foam that you just put on top. On the other hand, it costs way, way more, and I'm not sure if that's worth your money. In my case, I want to have this put together and just stay that way, look kind of beautiful, and at the same time do a good job. So now I'm going to do the same test as before that I did and talk straight into the microphone, in this case the ATR-2100. And now I'm talking at a 90-degree angle and a bit of a distance. 120 degrees to the microphone so you can hear how that sounds. And from the back of the microphone so you hear how that sounds. And now I'm switching to the BETA 57A and I'm talking straight into the microphone. At a 90-degree angle, this is how the microphone sounds and rejects noise. At 120 degrees of the microphone, this is how it sounds. And from the back of the microphone, this is how it sounds. With a foam, these microphones are supposed to much better reject the P sounds. These pop filters or windshields are pretty powerful if you say P sounds, like for example the Peter Piper, and you will find that they actually reject most of that. So Peter Piper packs peanuts is one of those sentences that gets used a lot in these kind of tests, and I'm going to say the same sentence again, Peter Piper packs peanuts. So now you have a little bit of a comparison between these two microphones. Comparing between the sound with and without the wind foam thingy, and also having the comparison between the USB connection of the ATR-2100 and the XLR connection of the ATR-2100, and also have the comparison of the Beta 57A, which is right now my go-to podcasting microphone for on the road, which is what I'm going to be doing a lot more of in the coming weeks and months, and I definitely have myself set up to do that more now. If you are interested in any other tests with these microphones, if you want to have more information about them, please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Generally speaking, I have not done any post-processing on these. I pretty much used them out of the box. If I did any gain adjustments, I did them to both of the microphones, so you can hear how both of them sound at the same gain setting and don't have the difference in audio volume to have that as a main differentiating factor. With all of that being said, I hope this video was helpful for you, and if you have any more questions, please leave them in the comments down below. I will be responding there, and if need be, I will make another video about all of this microphone and podcasting tech. About the top podcasting, I will definitely make more videos, but maybe not about the microphones testing specifically. So I will see you in the next one, and until then, I hope you have an amazing day. Ciao!